actual Open Meeting Act. If you would, please stand with us as we, for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we'll continue with roll call.
Granquist,
Here.
Lange,
Here.
Merrill,
Here.
Clausen,
Here.
Murin,
Here.
Moaning,
Here.
Faust,
Here.
File.
Here.
All right, and I would ask for approval of the consent agenda.
So moved, Your Honor. Second.
Motion with a second to approve the consent agenda. If you would please vote.
All council members voting in the affirmative.
All right, and as well, I would entertain a approval of the full agenda as presented you.
So move, Your Honor.
Second.
A motion with a second to approve the full agenda. Again, please vote.
All council members voting in the affirmative.
All right. And under action items tonight, the first item is a public hearing for the mayor and the city council to sit as a board of equalization to equalize special assessments for mowing, weed control, litter removal, and property maintenance in the amount of $313.47 against 213 Jefferson Avenue and $208.18 against 414 North 10th Street. We need first I would entertain a motion to adjourn as the mayor and council and then reconvene as the Board of Equalization.
So move, Your Honor.
Second.
A motion with a second, and I need you to please vote.
All council members voting in the affirmative.
All right. Discussion on this, we'll entertain discussion on both properties.
Right. The city did notify both property owners of the mowing, weed, litter, and property maintenance. The property owners did not respond to the work, and it was completed at the owner's expense. The city billed the property owners and mailed the notices to them by certified mail. And following the public hearing, the assessments will be levied against the properties, and then if the properties sell in the future, then the city hopefully will get those amounts paid back to us for what we expended on the properties. I'll answer any questions.
On cases like this, do they pick up their mail? Are they signing?
Yes,
So
yes,
they did get it then?
yes,
Okay.
Certified mail.
yes,
Okay, good question.
Do we charge interest on this as well?
yes. Yes, there is a regular interest and a delinquent interest charge, just like special assessments.
Okay, good questions. Any others, council? If not, then am I closing the hearing here then, and I need a motion to adjourn as the Board of Equalization and then to reconvene as mayor and council.
I'll make the motion, Your Honor.
Second that, Your Honor.
All right. And I would ask again that you please vote.
All council members voting in the affirmative.
And then we're ready for consideration of resolution number 2014-46, which would be levying a special assessment in the amount of $313.47 against the property located at 213 Jefferson Avenue for mowing, weed control, and litter removal.
Your Honor, I'd move consideration of resolution 2014-46.
Second.
All right, we have a motion with a second. Any further discussion at all? If not, please vote.
All council members voting in the affirmative, resolution 2014-46 is adopted.
And as well, we're looking for consideration of resolution 2014-47, levying a special assessment in the amount of $208.18 against property located at 414 North 10th Street for the mowing, weed control, litter removal, and property maintenance.
I move for resolution of 2014-47.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion with a second regarding resolution 2014-47. If no further discussion, please vote.
All council members voting in the affirmative, resolution 2014-47 is adopted.
All right. And next is a public hearing to receive a report on the findings and suggestions from the Economic Development Citizen Advisory Review Committee as required by state statute section 18-2715. And I will open the hearing and look to Randy to give us a report.
Yes, Your Honor. This is a requirement of statutes. Can you hear me now?
Is it on?
I thought it's on, yeah. How about now? This is a requirement of statutes. Any city that's got an LB 840 Economic Development Program has to create a Citizens Advisory Review Committee, or CARC. Citizens serving on Norfolk's CARC are Bill Canham, Cindy Morrow, Jim Mangles, Aaron Ott, and Jan Einspar. And I serve as an ex officio non-voting member on the CARC. The statutes require that they meet at least once every 6 months and provide a report to the council on whether or not the program's operating in compliance with the, whether or not the city's operating the program in compliance with the program guidelines and plan, and also make any recommendations they would have to the mayor and city council. The CARC met on December 4th, and their report's included in the agenda packet, and I'll just review that briefly. First item that CARC had on their agenda was a review of the city's economic development fund, and that was from the period of May through October. And revenues include the normal property tax collections and interest, but also $2,365,000 of bond proceeds for the LB 840 bond we issued in June. That's for the pipeline that's coming into town. Those bond proceeds have not yet been expended because we have yet to receive a formal application from Tejas, but I'll discuss that just a little bit later on in the report. The only expenditure for the period was issuance cost on the bonds of $15,000. I left a balance of about $3.95 million in cash in the Economic Development Fund. CARC received an update on several outstanding projects, Peterson Ag being the first of those. Peterson Ag's been busy this last 6 months or so. This spring, the storms that went through and destroyed a lot of and damaged a lot of the center pivots. They're also working on the co-op in Pelger, and they have not yet got all their paperwork finalized. After the CARC meeting, we contacted Lauren Kusher with the Nebraska Business Development Council, who's working to package the loan financing together that will take out the construction period loan. He hopes to have the paperwork in place by the end of the year, and we also plan on following up with the company on the status of that loan. The Tejas project, Tejas is working on a corporate restructuring. We expect that to be completed next month, and formal application to be coming forward after that. And shortly thereafter, we should be distributing the money that we're holding for the pipeline project. In the meantime, I understand Bob Hills has been working on acquiring the easements for the pipeline. The Economic Development Director also gave the CARC a broad overview of the city's economic development going forward, and workforce and housing issues are a concern right now, and she hasn't been doing a lot of push for recruiting new jobs in Norfolk because of those pressing concerns. We have low unemployment and a lot of open jobs. Task forces are in place to address both of those issues. And then the last item the CARC had on their agenda was the requirement of statutes, where they review the operation of the city's economic development plan and provide suggestions. The CARC found that the city's EDP was operating in compliance with the budget and voter-approved economic development plan. They had one suggestion, which was that all loans be closed within 6 months of application approval by the council unless extended by the city's finance officer. That answer any questions?
Okay. Any questions for Randy at all? So at this point, what you're seeing right now, Randy, is has it been longer than 6 months on the approval of Peterson Ag? Is that what the deal is here?
Yeah, that was actually approved clear back in May of 2013, so we're about a year and
Right.
a half down the road on that one. That's what prompted the suggestion. So yeah, we're past that point in time. At this point, that's merely a suggestion unless the council takes some type of formal action to implement that suggestion, which I would expect would be after consideration by the Economic Development Subcommittee, and then some type of action by the council, perhaps in the form of a resolution. And then I expect that to get closed fairly quickly from what I'm hearing. But
Yeah.
that has drawn on a while for
Well, I'm sure
several
it probably
reasons.
hasn't been, though, one of those things that has been, has taken, certainly with the situation that they're in. I understand, but yet I also understand what the group is suggesting. So we'll look to you to take that forward to the necessary committee and have that discussion and bring it back to the council then, if in fact there is a desire to make that change.
We'll do that.
Okay, any other questions at all for Randy or thoughts? If not, let's see, I guess we're gonna close the public hearing then. And if no further discussion, we're gonna move right on to consideration of approval of an engineering service contract with Olson Associates for a bridge-type selection study for the Norfolk Avenue Bridge between First Street and Cottonwood Street for an amount not to exceed $55,200. Do I have a motion for consideration of?
I'll make the motion, Your Honor.
Second.
All right, we have a motion with a second. We have Mark to tell us about it.
All right. Mayor and Council, this is the bridge there between Hy-Vee Gas and Hy-Vee Grocery on Norfolk Avenue by Cottonwood. Basically, we went through the RFQ process with the intention of selecting an engineer to design and to replace that structure. But we went through the RFQ process with the mayor and council. And during that process, it became apparent that a selection study would be beneficial, as during that the RFQ, several options were presented, and there are a ton of variables that exist that we really need to narrow down before marching down with one specific type of structure. And so this contract includes survey, hydraulic analysis, some traffic study to establish the roadway geometrics and to verify the number of lanes are still accurate and will serve us for the lifetime of the bridge. And then also narrows down the structure type study, taking into consideration short and long-term impacts such as cost analysis, traffic, constructability, aesthetics, items like that that can greatly impact, what type of structure we start going down the road with. Once we narrow down those variables, then we'll present a contract for a specific structure. That bridge was put in before the flood control was built, so the hydraulic impact is greatly different, now from when the bridge was built. So we just want to make sure we're getting in the right bridge, the right width of a bridge. Does it need to be 5 lanes? Is it 4 lanes? Or is it 3 lanes? Establish all those variables so we know what we're designing. With that, I answer any questions?
Council?
So Mark, I see the anticipated completion date's May 4, so I would guess then that the design would occur after that.
Right.
And so it probably would not end up in the 2015 construction.
Right, I would, at the earliest we'd probably look at construction would be 2016. The earliest probably you could even consider, during the RFQ process, some engineers talked about winter construction, because you can narrow down. So I wouldn't anticipate that happening next winter, but it's always a outside possibility.
Any other questions at all for Mark? If not, then I would ask you to vote.
All council members voting in the affirmative, motion carries.
All right. And finally is consideration of resolution number 2014-48, approving the preliminary plan development of JMHS LLC's plan development located at 2001 South 37th Street.
Your Honor, I'd offer for consideration Resolution 2014-48.
Second that, Your Honor.
Okay, we have a motion with a second. Trent, are you speaking to this for us?
Yes, Mayor. Mayor and Council, this is, I thought that they were gonna be here tonight, Chris Merkel, but I'm sure the weather is keeping him at home, as is most people, it looks like. This is a planned development that Chris Merkel came in with. They did a subdivision out there. It is zoned ag. He builds mud flaps that there's no walk-in service. I think it's a stamping type operation. I was hoping he'd be here to explain that a little bit better because I don't know exactly what kind of machinery he has or what, but he is looking at building a building on this lot and hiring up to about 4 employees initially anyway to continue his mud flap business. So,
Okay.
if you have any questions, I can try to answer them the best I can.
I see that Laverne Schroeder is here, who is the engineer
Oh,
representing
hey.
Mr.
I
Merkel.
missed you, Laverne, sorry. I wasn't trying to leave you out.
He just snuck in, so.
I know you were hoping I would, but
It's not billable unless you speak.
sorry.
Laverne Schroeder, representing Chris Merkel. What we have before you is request for a PD development. This is on a tract of land. It's located a mile and a half south of 275 and a mile west of 25th Street. And what Chris has been doing out there for, I don't know for how long, Trent could probably tell you, but he's been running a small business doing this, building these mud flaps, which is actually a stamping operation where they get them and they just stamp them from forms. Pretty clean operation as I understand it. And first what we did is we subdivided his 80-acre tract into 3 lots. And what we have before you is a request for a plan development on the center lot there. The plan that we have before you shows is the proposed building, which is a 60 by 100 and the placement of the building, and it shows the parking for the proposed building. Also has been addressed is it's in a wellhead area and what's to be used for they have to use a holding tank for the septic, and they have private well. You have any questions other than that?
Council, any questions for?
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for coming out. All right. Well, council, if no further discussion, we have consideration of Resolution 2014-48. I'm going to ask that you vote.
All council members voting in the affirmative. Resolution 2014-48 is adopted.
All right. Tonight is public comment period. So if there's anyone in the audience that wants to come forward and address this council, we certainly are more than happy to listen to you tonight. However, please understand that no action can take place. So anyone at all? Thought you were a pretty brave soul to be out here tonight. Speak your name for us and sign in.
Rick Whipperling. About 14 months ago, I was about the city of Norfolk did an EPA thing and decided to was against the law to put grass clippings in the street. I had was keeping an eye on a piece of property done by Habitat for Humanity, and the first time I called Cuba, part of the health department, told me that they had mowed their clippings into the street. Nothing was done. He never got back to me. The next person I called was a fire department. They didn't get back to me. Shane Clausen, he never got back to me. The street department, I didn't expect them. And Shane. No one got back to me on that. If you guys are making laws, rules and regulations, and then you don't enforce them, you use that as a lever against people that you don't agree with, then I take it. You will.
Explain that for me.
That's my suspicion. I don't claim that, I guess. So why don't you guys enforce that law?
Rick, are you saying that Habitat for Humanity, the folks responsible for that lot blew grass clippings in the street? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Well.
And I talked to several people
Okay, about that.
about that piece of property.
That-
The
that-
corner
that
of
was
Park
occurring.
and Second Street.
That was occurring, you spoke to
Yes.
several people about. Okay. Well, all I can say is I apologize if we didn't follow up with you on that, Rick.
Sounds typical.
The apology? Okay, well, it's sincere for what it's worth. We do have regulations about blowing grass and other debris into the street.
I see.
That's true. We try our best to follow up with those kind of complaints, and it comes down to the stormwater management plan that we have in the community. So it's a big community, and sometimes that happens. We try to do our best. That's all I can say. You know, we'll continue to do our best to try
Well,
to enforce that.
Obviously, you never talked to Habitat for Humanity once, otherwise they would probably have quit. And I also noted that at short time after that tornado down in Pilger, the city of Norfolk at 307 did the same thing,
307 one.
South Second.
Okay. All right, I'll follow up on that. Would you like a report back on that?
I would.
Anything else?
Don't make laws, rules, and regulations you're not willing to enforce.
Anyone else that wants to come forward and speak this evening? If not, this council is adjourned.